Joining me now is Skye Perryman, President and CEO of Democracy Forward. She has a new book, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Times, How to Reclaim Your Power, Fight for Freedom, and Reimagine Democracy, and it comes out August 25th, a month from now. So congratulations on that. Let me talk about yesterday's decision, though, because the First Circuit Court of Appeals wrote, the president's order directs unprecedented levels of involvement by federal officials in how states administer elections. How big of a blow is this really to the president's plan, Skye? And does it intersect with any of your litigation to protect the election process?
This is a big blow for the president and for the entire voter suppression agenda. The Constitution just could not be more clear that the president does not have a role in elections. This is a state and local elections are state and local in this country. Congress has some bit of a role, but the president has no role. And so what you see is this court, the First Circuit Court of Appeals, among so many other federal courts across the country, striking down the administration's unlawful attempts to take authority that it does not have over the election. So in addition to this win for voters everywhere yesterday, we have been able to secure a court order finding that the administration's use of the modified SAVE database at the Department of Homeland Security is unlawful. The government doesn't want to comply with that court order, and so we're in court forcing that compliance. But you've seen the Department of Justice and this administration lose. You've seen them lose 16 or 17 times in their attempts to try to get state voter data. And all of this is because the president is trying to claim power that just isn't in the Constitution. And I think you'll continue to see the federal courts stop this suppression agenda every step of the way.
So what we're talking about, your litigation as well, where does it leave DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin's threats against state election workers of potential prison time if they don't comply with the administration's election security measures?
Yeah, those statements are absolutely baseless. He doesn't have legal authority. This is part of the retribution agenda, part of a fear-mongering attempt by the White House and the president's allies and cabinet-level officials to try to scare people into fairly, to try to scare people out of voting, to try to scare local officials. And that's why you've seen them lose so frequently in the courts.
Okay, but seeking voter rolls, it is just part of the administration's election interference campaign. Earlier this month, the president ousted the remaining members of that bipartisan federal agency that helps state and local officials run elections and certify voting equipment. He also delivered that primetime address last week, fanning unsubstantiated election interference claims, and called many elections crooked in the Oval Office just on Friday. So which is worse, Skye, and more potentially damaging to the election process? Is it Trump's words or the administration's deeds?
Look, this administration is trying to scare people into not voting. They're trying to scare local administration officials out of doing their job. This is a deeply unpopular thing with the American public. People in this country believe in the right to vote. They want to see their fellow citizens vote, even if they vote differently than each other. That's a piece of this country, and that's why this is a voter suppression agenda. I think it's really important that the focus now at 100 days beyond what individual Americans can do in this moment to make sure that they are voting, making a plan to vote, and helping their communities vote. It is time to prepare voters. It is time to prepare people not to continue to engage in the fear-mongering that we see the White House and administration officials try to engage in. The courts are going to continue to strike down so much of what this president's doing, but the people are also going to have a voice here. And you've seen the people over and over step up and say, you're not going to take our right to vote.
Okay. Amen to that. Skye Perryman, thank you so much. And again, come back later in August when the book gets out so we can talk about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.